Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Case by Case. We're doing another episode today, recapping Ashley Garth's case, and we're also going to get in her interrogation video coverage this afternoon. This is episode 7 of my second time around covering her case. Welcome in, everybody. Make sure that you hit that like button and subscribe. If you're on the replay crew, do the same. I always keep the comments open and try to answer as many questions as I can. I have a very special guest with me today from all the way from Belgium. I'm going to bring him on here in just a minute and let him introduce himself. And he is also going to be covering Ashley's case. We're going to get her some more exposure across the country. So that's a great thing. And I'm going to go through a little bit of a recap of the first 7 episodes at the beginning here. Hi, Kyle. But let me first bring on Mister Belgique, all the way from Belgium.
Hello, Ashley.
Hello.
Hello, Amy.
Hi, Streets of Bakersfield.
Hello, can you hear me with my headphones?
Yeah, I can
Yep.
hear you and I can see you.
I'm in the Phoenix airport right now. I'm on the layover.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Hello.
This is Jerome. Jerome, this is Christine. Christine's traveling right now for work, guys, so she's going to be hopefully able to listen in, but if not, she'll be bouncing in and out. So, Jerome, huh?
I have to board my flight soon. I just wanted to stop it and say hi real quick.
Okay.
And say hi to Jerome. I was really excited that he was joining you, so I wanted to say hi. Hi.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I hope you are
Hello.
doing well.
You're traveling, so tired. But I'll let you guys go and get to it. I just wanted to say hi.
Okay. Love you.
Bye. Love you too. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. All right, Jerome, I'm going to let you take the stage for a second, and then you can tell people a little bit about you, and then we will get started on Ashley's case.
Okay, I'm going to try to be as quick as possible to try to explain you who I am. My name is Jerome. I live in Belgium, and I'm interested in all of kind of case who involve wrongfully people. And I also work on different cases like the GFK case, the Zodiac case, the Stephen Avery case, and all of kind of case. And recently, I was told by a friend to watch the interrogation of Richard Allen about the Delphi case. I was aware about the Delphi case, but I didn't follow from the day one. I was aware about just the basics, but not everything. I don't have the time to cover every case I'm looking on. So, but when I see the 2 interrogation of Richard Allen, I was completely enraged because it was so similar to the Avery case and the Dassey case for the murder of Teresa Halbach in Making a Murderer, the series on Netflix. And it was the same. It was really the same. It was a read technique, and I see Richard in this interview, and I say, okay, I don't know everything for now because I'm just starting to work on this case. But if this guy is guilty, I'm completely dumb, and I don't know anything about the work I'm doing. So when I see Amy for the first time here on this channel talking about the Delphi case, I was really interested to know more and maybe working with Amy on that, and maybe on other case too, like you are going to talk about the case today, Amy. And I'm a musician. I I don't know. I like horror movie. I like,
Yeah, so Jerome is his first language is French.
yes,
And are you self-taught English?
yes.
So
With
you do very good. You do very good.
Thank you very much. But it was with the help of my friend in Scotland, Sharon Young, who teach me a little bit of English and certainly the context to put the word for the grammar, because we don't have the same grammar. The French language is really more complicated than the English language. So
Mm-hmm.
at at first I was thinking in French to translate in English to
Mm-hmm.
answer the questions. So I was struggling with that. But it was not a problem for me to understand what people were saying, but for me to talk, it was a problem. So,
Mm-hmm.
but now I think I'm a little bit better on
Well, you do
on
great. You absolutely. I mean, your English is great. And if anyone's listening that there's always closed captions just to kind of make out some of the tricky words. But I think you do great.
Thank you very much, Amy, and thank you
You're
very much
welcome.
for your invitation. It really matters to me.
Yeah, if I can share Ashley's case, and get more people interested and with your channel, and
Yes,
Jerome is also a good friend of Dr. Silkman's. So we all kind of behind the scenes. We have some things coming up. Hi, hybrid. We have some things in the works coming up that I think you guys are really going to enjoy. And look for some posts and updates this week, because we have some things in the work coming next week. And so today I'm going to do a recap of all of the first 7 episodes that we've done, for those of you who are new listening to Ashley Garth's case for the first time. And this is my second time around covering Ashley's case, but the first time we covered her case during her downtime of waiting for her to get post-conviction relief counsel. Ashley had to sit and wait for an attorney in Indiana to be assigned, and she sat for a little over 2 years. Indiana is one of the few states in the country that does offer legal assistance for post-conviction relief, but it's on a first-come, first-served basis. So Ashley's case began in 2019. Ashley is from Delphi, Indiana. She grew up there. Her family still lives there. And Ashley was involved with a guy by the name of Garrett Kurtz. Garrett Kurtz is from Brookston, Indiana. And Ashley and Garrett had a very tumultuous relationship that ultimately ended in 2016, when Ashley realized that she had become addicted to meth, and her and Garrett both were running within a crowd of people who were also doing meth. And Ashley made the decision that she needed to get away from that. So she reached out to her family and got an invitation through a rehab center in Florida to move to Florida and go through rehab, which she did. So I think it was, I want to say March or April of 2016, Ashley moved to Florida and enrolled herself in rehab. So Ashley was not living in Delphi during the Delphi case, when the Delphi case occurred. However, Garrett became a suspect in the Delphi case. So when Ashley came back later in 2017 to Indiana, Garrett at that time was just getting out of jail, and he had gone through a work release program and was clean. Ashley being clean, they both, for whatever reason, felt that they could rekindle the relationship and go down the right path together. By October of 2019, Ashley was already sporting 2 black eyes on Facebook. Garrett actually it was in 28, I believe it was in 2018. Garrett was a very violent person, and he struggled with addiction between meth, spice, and heroin. So Ashley broke it off with him again, and Garrett began dating a girl by the name of Nicole Bowen. And this started in January of 2019. Ashley had removed Garrett from her home, and he was already kind of intertwined with Nicole Bowen at the time. This is Nicole Bowen. So this is the victim in this case. So Garrett was involved with Nicole, and there were a lot of social media back and forth between Nicole and Ashley. Nicole really wanted to kind of shove it down Ashley's throat that her and Garrett were together. Garrett was trying to play both sides of the fence, and he was with Nicole, making it very public he was with Nicole, but he was still attempting to violently and controllably control Ashley, wanting to know where she was, who she was with, sending her threatening text messages, sending her family threatening text messages. And ultimately on January 21st, around that time frame, Ashley was not staying at her own home, the home that she was renting from her mom and stepfather, because she was afraid Garrett was going to do something to her violently. She was working as a nurse's aide and needed to come home and get a change of clothes and shower. So she had a friend bring her home. This was on January 21st. A friend brought her home, dropped her off, and that individual left to go to the store. Ashley was only going to go in and get a change of clothes and shower and leave again. Garrett had broken in. Hey, Toby, how are you? Garrett had broken and had basically laid out an entire kill kit on Ashley's bed. Duct tape, ties, and he was hiding in her bedroom closet. So she comes in and she's physically attacked. She is hogtied with duct tape. She's gagged. She has a sock put in her mouth and her face is duct tape. And she's dragged out into the living room where the stereo was then turned way up so no one can hear. And she's repeatedly strangled unconscious multiple times. And Ashley remembers that she had gone unconscious, and he had basically attempted to revive her multiple times, only to strangle her again. The friend returned to the home, waited in the driveway, thought it was taking too long, came to the door, was banging on the door, and ultimately ended up calling Ashley's stepdad to say, hey, I think there's something wrong. What do I do? Ashley's stepdad immediately jumped in his car with a gun, got on the phone to 911, telling 911 that he was on his way to the house and they needed to send someone there ASAP because he was going to show up. And if Garrett was there, he was going to take matters in his own hands, because Carroll County was telling him that they were too busy to send an officer. Well, based on Ashley's stepdad's threats to law enforcement that he was going to take matters in his own hand, they immediately got someone available to meet him there at the scene. Garrett, at this point in time, knew that there were people outside, so he ended up calling for a ride and running out the back door. And so Ashley was ultimately saved, but when the police got there, she was still duct taped. She had marks all over her neck, marks all over her face. There was a police report taken and ultimately a restraining order issued against Garrett. And there was a warrant that was put out for Garrett's arrest for what Carroll County considered an F6 strangulation. He was never charged with breaking and entering. He was not charged with domestic violence. He was only charged with an F6, felony 6, strangulation, and ultimately was able to bond out the next day. So that is what took place in January. And at that point in time, Ashley's decision to move out of the house for her own safety was, she made that decision. So she began to move out. Hi, Kathy. She began packing up and moving out. Ultimately, during this time, Garrett showed up while she was there packing, and her family happened to be there. And this falls back into connection with the Delphi case, because the prosecutor who was supposed to be prosecuting Garrett Kurtz in the strangulation of Ashley was Nick McClelland. Nick McClelland was very good friends with Garrett's grandfather. Their families were friends. And Garrett explained to me that was why he was able to get out and bond out of jail after the strangulation of Ashley, was because Nick McClelland was going to take care of it. Well, Nick McClelland did. He let him out. And then Garrett violates the restraining order not once, but twice, and is able to bond out immediately. And instead of being charged under the violation of the restraining order, AKA no contact order, he was only charged with an invasion of privacy. Even though Ashley was on the premises, but the owner of the home was present, they charged it as an invasion of privacy because the owner of the property was there, which is absolute bullshit. Hybrid, you're right. No, he was not charged with attempted murder. He was not. So that takes us into that.
Amy, excuse me, but you are mute.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to mute myself. Sorry. In the beginning of March, Garrett is now entertaining a situation with a guy by the name of Ray Hainish. Ray Hainish lives in Reynolds, Indiana. He is a gay male. He's a nurse. And it is very, it's a gray area of how we can prove exactly how Garrett and Ray became in contact with each other. I've covered that in other episodes. So for just the purpose of getting through to what we're actually going to do here, I'm going to kind of move quickly on this. But Garrett was communicating with a guy by the name of Ray Hainish, and ultimately was over at his apartment. This was March 13th that Ray Hainish ultimately is determined that he was murdered. Ray was found on March 17th, bound, gagged, and tied to his bed. It appeared that he was strangled with ligature strangulation. So according to the pathologist, they determined that Ray had died on the 13th. There was communication with Ray and Garrett on the 13th, but there had been no communication from Ray at all after the 13th. So that's where that time of death came in. On March 13th, prior to Ray's body being discovered in his apartment, Garrett, Nicole Bowen, and a guy by the name of Kyle Stout were pulled over and arrested in Ray Hainish's vehicle. They were arrested for Garrett was driving the vehicle. He had no driver's license. They had meth, amphetamines in the car, a scale, and a syringe. Bonded out that same day, even though he's out on bond in Carroll County for a strangulation 6, and he's out on bond for violating or the invasion of privacy. He was still able to bond out that same night. Him and Nicole both were able to bond out that same night in March on the 14th. And Kyle Stout was released on foot. They let him walk away from the scene after they were pulled over in the vehicle. Ray's body was then discovered on March 17th. And because of the vehicle citation on the 13th, they were able to track down who was in Ray's car, and because the car had been impounded. So they began looking for Garrett and Nicole after March 17th. So do we have any questions up to this point?
No, I don't think so. There is no question in the chat. No, but it's completely insane. It's look like this guy has protection from the law enforcement. It's crazy.
Yeah, he definitely got let off the hook quite a bit. And that's really a shame, because ultimately, if he had been taken off the streets, 2 lives would have been saved.
Yeah.
So that's my stance on it. And then, they're going forward, you're going to find out that the majority of first of all, everything surrounding Ray Hanish's case was never allowed in Ashley's trial. None of that information came in. So the jury never heard that Garrett and Nicole were dating. The jury never heard that Garrett was responsible for a prior murder. They never heard that Nicole was possibly a witness to that murder. And they never heard that ultimately Ashley was very much so Garrett's first strangulation victim, because Garrett is he's a predator, and he is a serial strangler.
Yeah.
So the jury never heard that.
Oh, it's possible. I mean, the defense never point out the fact that he was a dangerous man, or
he was jealous, he was controlling, and he was hell-bent. Ashley is a very passive type. What's the word I'm looking for? I would describe her as submissive. She's very timid, very emotional. So, yeah. And by this point in time, she was terrified of Garrett.
Yeah.
Yes. But she was smart. She was smart enough to know, based on everything that she had been through, and no one, like law enforcement wise, stepping in to intervene. I think that in her mind, her best way to handle him was to be submissive. And because otherwise, if she was to stand up to him, he would have probably killed her. So ultimately, that's how she found herself in this situation that she found herself in, that got her charged with murder. And the domestic violence aspect of this whole entire case never came in to her trial. Her defense attorney never brought it forth as part of her defense. The history of this case would have ended in a very much different outcome if the whole entirety of this case would have been put on at her trial. So,
yeah, with a better defense lawyer, many lives could be saved in this case, but
yeah, and it was not. So, go ahead.
No, it's crazy. I'm all she was when she passed away.
Nicole, I think Nicole was in her mid-20s. Ashley's birthday is actually today. She turned 33 today. So this happened in 2019. And Ashley has been in prison since 2021. It took that long for it to go to trial. Ashley was able, after 6 months of being in jail, her dad was able to bond her. She did get a bond. She was allowed to be bonded out. And so she was out on bond during her trial. And so let me back up to how we got there. So immediately in March of 2019, the ISP, hey Chris, how are you? I will tell her happy birthday. So immediately the police start looking for Garrett and Nicole. And the weekend right after Ray Hainish was killed, Garrett took Nicole out to a friend of his house out in Crawfordsville, Indiana, which is clear on the eastern side of Indiana. He took Nicole out there to a friend's house by the name of Jeff Sneath, and that's going to be important down the road. To me, it was almost, because Garrett knew that he had been pulled over in Ray's car. I'm sure on the news, it was being reported that Ray's body had been found. So he knew ultimately they were going to come looking for him. So he tried to go somewhere far out, and he took Nicole with him. At this point, I don't know if Nicole was a witness to Ray's death, if Nicole had been to Ray's apartment. It's been pretty much a solid fact that after Ray was dead, Garrett held a party or two in Ray's apartment. So if Nicole and him were an item, it's not far-fetched to believe that Nicole also was at Ray's apartment. But ultimately, Nicole's life was taken before anyone got the opportunity to speak to her. But he takes her out to Jeff Sneath's property, and they're there for, I believe, a night and a day. And then they come back to the Monticello area. And by March 25th, Indiana State Police, by March 25th is a Monday. That weekend and on that Monday, Indiana State Police are knocking on Ashley's father's door looking for Garrett. And they had previously knocked on Nicole Bowen's mother's door looking for Nicole. And Ashley did not know why they were there. They ultimately said they wanted to talk to Garrett about his involvement with a guy by the name of Ray Hainish. I believe they informed her that Ray Hainish was a gay male. And Ashley had not seen or spoken to Garrett for quite some time, and said that she would see if she could get a hold of him. Well, let me back up. Back in January, when Garrett broke into Ashley's house and attacked her, when he left on foot to run, he took Ashley's phone with him. And he had been utilizing her phone during this 2-month time frame from the end of January to the second week of March. He had access to her Google Drive. He had access to her Facebook account. He had access to everything on that phone. And after Ray's body was discovered and the police released Ray's apartment to the family went in to help pack up some of Ray's things. They discovered a phone on the coffee table. That phone belonged to Ashley Garth. Garrett had her phone with him in his apartment. So on social media, what happened was automatically Ashley Garth was linked to this murder as well and being involved with Garrett in Ray's apartment. And that couldn't be further from the truth. It just so happened Garrett had her phone. And the proof of this is the fact that when the police showed up at Garrett's grandmother's home in January to arrest him for strangling Ashley, It is documented in the police report that Garrett admitted to the officer that, yes, he did take Ashley's phone and he had possession of Ashley's phone. Well, they arrested him. They didn't confiscate the phone. They left the phone where it was. So when Garrett got out of jail, he still had possession of Ashley's phone. It was never returned to her. So that's how the snowball started with Ashley and the Ray Hainish case. And other YouTube channels that covered this case at the time didn't know the full story. They didn't know that Garrett had stolen Ashley's phone, and that's how Ashley's phone came to be at that crime scene. So the week of March 25th, when ISP shows up at Ashley's door, she says that she will look for Garrett. So she starts putting some posts out on social media accusing Garrett of being bisexual, which she had suspected in the last few months of their relationship. And she was reaching out, trying to get a hold of Garrett, basically saying, "What have you done? The police are here looking for you. I'm tired of your shit. Why are the police knocking on my door?" Hey, Michael. How are you? Yeah, same old from law enforcement. So later that day, or that evening, I should say, Garrett shows up at Ashley's house, pissed, infuriated. He knows the police are looking for him. I think at this point in time, he's probably, his anxiety's through the roof. He knows he's killed someone. He knows he's attached to it. And he knows, this is a big kicker in this case. He knows that when him and Nicole were pulled over in Ray Hainish's vehicle, that when they got to the police station, Nicole ratted Garrett out by telling them that the vehicle wasn't his. She told them that all of the drugs in the car were Garrett's, the scale was Garrett's, and the syringe was Garrett's. So now, and on top of that, Nicole had previously in 2015 went to the police and turned in her baby's father and his dad for selling methamphetamines out of a business. So she was the cause for having the business raided and those two ultimately sent to prison. So she does have a history of what Garrett would consider being a snitch. And she's told on Garrett now. So now he's infuriated. He's infuriated with Ashley for putting his business on social media. He's in fear that Nicole is going to tell. And if she's a witness to Ray's case, ultimately he's afraid that she's going to snitch on him.
Yeah.
For that murder. So give me 2 seconds. I need to put my dog outside. I don't know what he is barking at, but he is emphatically not stopping. Give me 2 seconds. Well, 2 minutes. I'm sorry. Give me 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
Take all the time you need, Amy. It's your show. So thank you very much, everybody in the chat, to be here with us today or tonight. It depends where you live. I really appreciate to be here with you here on Amy's channel. It's a great honor. She works hard. She's a big deal, and I really like this kind of person because she's working for the truth, and she don't care about making views or anything like this. Amy is a great person with
Thank
a beautiful
you.
soul. But I really think what I say. I think you're really a great soul, and you have to take a lot on you for this kind of case, because it's not always pleasant to talk about that, and for that you deserve to be respected and loved.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yes, this case is this is a complicated case, and I have taken a lot of crap over the years, mainly because I've spent the last several years trying to rewind what everyone believes they knew about this case, because
Yeah.
it wasn't the reality of what actually transpired, and that's been hard to do when you don't want to. Hey, Cherie, is she?
Hey, Sherry.
Cherie, if you want to pop, I sent you the link. If you want, if I don't know if you're at work. I didn't know if you had court this morning or not, but yeah, I've had to. It's been complicated because when you're dealing with victims, and you're not trying to hurt anyone's feelings, or just
I know what it is.
yeah, Nicola's absolutely a victim. And both these girls found themselves in a very peculiar situation, and I truly believe that Ashley was very lucky to get away from Garrett when she was able to,
Yeah.
and she took a huge risk by. You're gonna just wait till I tell you. Let me finish the story, because you're gonna be like, wow. So, picking it back up. Thank you, Hybrid. So Ashley, Garrett shows up, and I believe that Ashley was home alone. Ashley had moved back in with her father, and he wasn't home at the time. So Ashley grabbed her backpack, and took off from her house, with basically Garrett attempting to follow. And Ashley carried a backpack like a purse. Ashley went over to one of her friends' house, and Garrett shows up, and according to Ashley, the friend's house that she went to, the people who lived there had seen Garrett physically attack her before. And a lot of people apparently were afraid of Garrett, because he was such a hothead and would literally attempt to take anybody on. Garrett is not a little boy by any means. He's about 6 foot, a good 200 pounds. He's a big guy. And ultimately, he got Ashley back into a bedroom and physically assaulted her again, and was attempting to strangle her. And a girl who I've been in contact with, who was there, barged in, got him off, and threatened to call 911 if he didn't take her to the hospital. So because there was a witness, and everybody else in the house at that point, I believe, was kind of like standing behind her, like, yeah, man, you need to take her to the hospital. You can't be doing this. You can't be doing this. He really didn't have a choice. So he took her to White County Hospital, because he had choked her again unconscious. This hospital visit, this ER visit, was never introduced at Ashley's trial. In fact, the jury never even heard about it.
Terrible defense.
Right. Her attorney, Ashley, when Ashley was out on bond, Ashley had sent emails to her attorney about this, because Ashley had been in jail for 6 months. So she had no way of getting any kind of information on her own case. So she had emailed her attorney and said, hey, this is what happened. Can you get these records? And the attorney did not get the records. However, unfortunately, at the hospital, Ashley sat stoically quiet and allowed Garrett to speak for her. He told them that she had been in an ATV accident, which was also an excuse he had used to people when he gave Ashley 2 black eyes back in October. He told friends of theirs that she had gotten into an ATV accident. So he used that excuse again, and instead of speaking up, Ashley sat quietly and let him lie, which is unfortunate, but that's typically in abused relationships. That's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
They are afraid to speak.
Yeah, that's true. Sadly, it's true. Yeah.
Thank you, Hybrid. So they get out of the hospital. Ultimately, Garrett. So he has Garrett, or he has Ashley in his grasps, and ends up taking her all the way out to Newton County, which is up in the northern corner of Indiana. It's Newton County, but it's the city there is called Kentland. He had a friend by the name of Chris Mathis who lived up there. And Chris Mathis had been living on again and off again with a girl named Jasmine Parker. He tells Ashley, we're going to go, Ashley's saying, I want to go home. Can you take me home? He's like, after, I'm going to go up here to my buddy's house and get a tattoo. So he takes her out there. This is on a Wednesday night. They get there in the evening. I'll pull up for those of you who are watching, and for Jerome's sake, I'm going to pull up the trailer that he takes her to. But he takes her out there to Kentland, and I believe at this point they had meth, or they had been doing meth, and him and Chris Mathis are searching the trailer for some sort of tools for the tattoo gun. Chris is supposed to be giving him a tattoo. They can't find the pieces for the gun to do the tattoo. So that's kind of like, what they're doing high on meth, is looking for these tools. Ashley lays down on the couch, ultimately falls asleep. And let me see if I can pull up this video here. And wakes up the next morning. When she wakes up the next morning, Chris Mathis is gone. Now, mind you, she had never met Chris Mathis, and she had never met Jasmine. And there's a guy by the name of Mikey Hiddle who's in the trailer. Mikey Hiddle was a friend of Jasmine Parker's. Jasmine and Mikey are wanting Garrett to go to Delphi to get drugs and bring them back. So Ashley knows that if they're going to Delphi, she can be taken home. So she starts asking, can you take me home? Can you take me home? I want to go home. I have spoken to Mikey Hiddle. Mikey Hiddle confirms that there was an argument that morning between Garrett and Ashley. Ashley was not, his words, Ashley was not happy with the situation, but he didn't know why. He didn't know either one of them. All he knew was that he was called over there to give Ashley, or not Ashley, but Garrett, a ride to go get drugs. So Ashley's somewhat causing a scene. And Garrett says, look, okay, we're going to go to the gas station. We're going to pick up a few things. We'll swing back by and pick you up, get your bag and stuff, and we'll be back. Well, they leave and they never come back. So this is at like 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. And she's stuck sitting there at this girl's trailer that she does not know, and waiting and waiting and waiting. And Jasmine Parker has no Wi-Fi. She's using the Wi-Fi off of a neighbor. So Garrett had an old phone that he had been carrying, that he had left. It wasn't a phone that you could actually use to make phone calls. It only worked with certain apps if you were connected to Wi-Fi.
Okay.
This is key. That morning, before Garrett left, the phone that he was holding, or that he had on him, the battery it was an older model phone that the battery would come in and out. The battery would not stay in the back of the phone. It was like the clip that snapped in to hold the battery in was broke. So Garrett asked Jasmine for some tape to tape this battery onto the phone. Jasmine handed Ashley the roll of tape. It's not a wide roll, but it's not a skinny roll. It's like a medium-sized roll of black tape. Ashley took that roll of tape, pulled off a piece, and taped the battery into the back of the phone. When Ashley went into the police station and they confiscated the phone she had on her, it was that phone, and the tape was still on the phone, and it was actually entered as an exhibit at her trial. So when Garrett left that morning with Mikey Hiddle, he left the phone behind because it wasn't a working phone to make phone calls, and being on the road, he couldn't use it. But Ashley couldn't use it either because Jasmine didn't have Wi-Fi, and Jasmine wasn't giving over the Wi-Fi information from the neighbor. So once Ashley realized they weren't coming back from the gas station, and Garrett had just left her, she began to ask Jasmine to use her phone. Like, hey, can I use your phone? I need to find out where he's at, So it took a little while. Ashley said that Jasmine wasn't very, Jasmine didn't seem to want to let Ashley use her phone, but ultimately she did. And Ashley knew where Garrett was going in Delphi, which was, he actually wasn't going to Delphi. He was going right by Delphi to Monticello, to his friend's house by the name of Jason Palladino. That's where Garrett had been staying since Ashley had kicked him out of the house at the very beginning of January. And that's ultimately where him and Nicole Bowen had been staying. That's where he was going to get the meth from.
Yeah.
So he goes there with Mikey Hiddle, and during this car ride, he begins to talk to Mikey Hiddle about Nicole Bowen, that this girl snitched on him. They got arrested, and she was just a big snitch, and that if he sees her, he's going to hurt her. So and Mikey Hiddle says, he just thought he was blowing smoke, like, whatever, this dude, just talking shit. But that Mikey Hiddle had no idea that just 16 days prior to this, Garrett had strangled someone else to death. So they get to the compound, and they go in to the house, and Garrett does whatever he does, and they end up going into another trailer on this compound where a girl by the name of Talitha Beckley was living. Well, she was either living there or she was living in the first trailer. I'm not sure which, but she was at the time Jason Palladino's girlfriend. Talitha Beckley had been involved with the Palladino family for years, and they were known to be big meth dealers in the area. And she was ultimately intimately involved with Jason Palladino's uncle, which is Mark Palladino. Talitha and Mark Palladino, months prior, had been arrested together for a breaking and entering. Mark had a severe bad past, so his case was converted and he was sentenced to prison. Talitha was out on bond, which she violated, and at this point in time had a search warrant out for her arrest. And because Mark was incarcerated, she then hopped over and had become intimately involved with Mark's nephew, which was Jason. It's a lot of names.
Yeah.
It's a lot of names. So Garrett and Mikey Hiddle go to leave, and they get into Mikey Hiddle's car, and as they go to pull off, lo and behold, Nicole Bowen pulls in. Garrett tells Mikey to stop the car and gets out, goes over, talks to Nicole, comes back over, tells Mikey Hiddle, hey, I'm going to drive with Nicole. The plan was they were all going to go to Mikey Hiddle's apartment. Mind you, Ashley's clear out in BFE in Kentland, trying to get a hold of someone who can tell her if they've seen Garrett, because she's sitting out there going, okay, I have no way home. She's stranded.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what's going on. And she starts using Facebook Messenger to contact Talitha Beckley because she knows that Talitha Beckley lives on that property. She gets a hold of Talitha Beckley, and Talitha Beckley lies to her and says she hasn't seen Garrett. While Talitha is in the car with Mikey Hiddle, driving to Mikey Hiddle's apartment. Ashley calls her through Facebook Messenger twice, and then Nicole ends up blocking the number that she's calling from because she's calling from Jasmine Parker's phone. Mikey and Nicole get to Mikey Hiddle's apartment, and about an hour later, Nicole and Garrett show up. Where they went, no one knows. All that we do know, based on what Talitha states in her interrogation video, is that, Nicole was a heroin addict, and Nicole had been sick because Garrett was normally the one to get her heroin, and them two had been fighting, so she didn't have access to it. But she said when Garrett and Nicole showed up, they went into the bathroom. She said they both coughed, which, from what I understand, is something that happens when you shoot up. And that when they came out of the bathroom, Nicole was no longer dope sick. So apparently, I can only speculate that in the hour that they were missing, that they went somewhere for Garrett to get her heroin.
Yeah.
So they stay at Mikey Hiddle's apartment all evening. Mikey said Garrett and Nicole were lovey-dovey. Nicole was sitting on his lap. They were kissing, girlfriend, boyfriend type stuff.
Yeah.
Well, at around midnight, they decide they're leaving. Mikey Hiddle doesn't leave with them. It's Talitha and Nicole. In Nicole's car with Garrett driving. Now they're going to drive over an hour back out to Kentland. What no one knew at the time, and Ashley didn't even know at the time, is not only was Garrett having an intimate relationship with Nicole, he was also having an intimate relationship with Talitha. And Talitha was fully aware of Garrett's way of thinking about Nicole being a snitch. And if Nicole was going to snitch on Garrett, she would also be snitching on Jason Palladino. And so they are taking Nicole out here to Kentland. What also has come to light about what transpired at Mikey Hiddle's apartment, based on a handwritten letter that I have from Talitha to Garrett, is that Jason Palladino instructed Garrett to give Nicole Bowen a hot shot, an overdose of drugs.
Yeah.
So I can only speculate that that was what was given to Nicole at Mikey Hiddle's apartment. And based on the pathology report from Nicole's autopsy, she had enough fentanyl in her system to kill a horse. That was stated at trial, and that she had a recent injection that missed a vein. So I speculate that they were anticipating this hot shot to take effect while she was in the car,
Yeah.
or at some time there in the near future. I believe that Nicole had a high tolerance for the H drug. But if they miss the vein, it may not have worked the way that they had planned it to work. So ultimately, they show up out there in Kentland to Jasmine Parker's trailer. And they walk in, and Jasmine and Ashley are in the back bedroom. Ashley hears Garrett's voice, and she comes walking out of the bedroom. And the first thing she's thinking is, holy crap, I'm dead. Because Talitha's out there, and she knows that Talitha doesn't like her, and Nicole's standing there.
Yeah.
And Nicole had already been trying to entice Ashley through social media to a physical fight over Garrett, and Ashley had been dodging it. As soon as Nicole sees Ashley, Nicole is infuriated. She goes off and she runs up and starts hitting Ashley. The fight breaks out right there in the kitchen. For a brief moment, Garrett intervenes, grabs Nicole by her throat, and ultimately strangles her to death right then and there.
Jesus.
Yes. And when he intervened, he hit Ashley in the face to push her back. Ashley, at this point, I think, is a little bit stunned, a little bit. She described it as terrified, and that he was strangling her and he wasn't letting her go. And I think that she stood there for a brief moment, and then she ran back to the bedroom. He was screaming at Ashley to help him, and she went the other direction. So when Nicole went unconscious, he put her down on the floor. He immediately charged back into the bedroom and hit Ashley in the face again in front of Jasmine and Talitha. He goes back out into the front room and proceeds to he ties an electrical cord around Nicole's throat, a scarf. He duct tapes her hogtied, puts a bag over her head, wraps her in a blanket, and leaves, puts her in the trunk of her own car, leaves and goes and picks up Chris Mathis, and the two of them take Nicole out north of Kentland and leave her body. And let me see here. I do believe I have it, or do I not have it up? So, do I have it up here or not? So, well, let me share my screen. I thought I pulled it up here. So these photographs, hi Karen, that's okay. These photographs right here were taken, I think 8 days after this happened. And these are photographs of Garrett's arm when he was arrested. 8 days after this happened. You see the bruising on his arm.
Yep.
Ashley described that he put her in a chokehold. He put Nicole in a chokehold. And that's clearly believable based on the amount of pressure he had to have been applying in order to get these bruises on his arm, for them to still be there that many days later.
Yeah.
And let me show you. I'm gonna pull up Jasmine's trailer, so you get the visual effect of that. Yeah. And Jasmine's the trailer that she was renting had like an addition on the back of it, and Jasmine herself had a warrant for her arrest. So therefore, she had a padlock on her front door. And people were having to go around to this back area, this extension, to get into her property. So that is the door that Garrett took Nicole out of. So when he went to leave with Nicole's body, he went out front, got Nicole's car, backed it in to up towards this extension, and then loaded her from there. And ultimately, that was all caught on a security camera from across the street that was turned over to law enforcement. And that again was never introduced in Ashley's trial, showing Garrett
Jesus.
was the one who by himself took Nicole out and loaded her into the car. So here, let me share my screen really quick. This is Nicole's trailer. And, you know, people want to ask, well, why didn't she run? Why didn't she leave and, you know, and try to get home? Well, she was almost an hour and a half away from home. She had no telephone service. And as you'll see from this little short video that I took when I was there, this trailer sits literally out in the middle of nowhere in a cornfield. Let me get rid of the sound on here. Jerome?
Yes.
You can see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. This is the trailer that they go to. I must have skipped ahead. There we go. This video was taken in November of 2023. That back area back there is part of the extension. So you can see the whole side view of the trailer from here. That's where Garrett backed the car up to. And then this is the surrounding area around it. There's nothing there.
No.
But luckily, someone from across the trailer across the street had a surveillance camera. But you can see there's nowhere for her to go.
No. That's
So
terrible.
yes. So they then so at that there's way more to the story, but ultimately when Garrett comes back, he comes back with Chris Mathis, and they leave. This is all going on in the middle of the night. Garrett still has Nicole's car, and he has Talitha and Ashley get in the car because they're leaving. And he's going to take Talitha home back out to Delphi or Monticello to Jason Palladino's property. They drive all the way back. There's a stop on the way. Ultimately, Garrett is trying to sell Nicole's car. This is what he does. He tried to, I do believe he tried to sell Ray's car as well. But they get to Jason Palladino's property, and Ashley doesn't know. Ashley to this day believes that Garrett was supposed to not only take out Nicole, but he was also supposed to take out Ashley. He was supposed, and he kept telling her that he was going to. He kept telling her, you know, B, I should have killed you when I had the chance. You know, you better shut your mouth, you know. So she's sitting there in the car. Jason Palladino comes out with a gun, screaming and hollering at Garrett, and ultimately shoots at him outside the car. At that particular time, Ashley was under the impression that Jason was pissed because Ashley was still alive in the car. That was her thinking, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily believe now that I've gotten so deep into this case, that was necessarily the case. I think Jason was pissed because Nicole wasn't given a proper dose of a hot shot. And Jason had already been communicating with Talitha Beckley that day to find out that not only did Garrett fail at giving her a hot shot, but there were witnesses to what happened to Nicole. That's what I think personally. But so Talitha gets out of the car. She goes in the trailer. Jason comes out. He's irate, shoots at Garrett. Garrett and Ashley get in the car, and Garrett leaves. Once again, taking Ashley all the way out to Crawfordsville to his friend's house, again, like he did Nicole. They get out there, and Ashley had never met Jeff before, did not know Jeff's girlfriend, but they're there. And as soon as Ashley had the opportunity to speak to one of them privately, she conveyed to them what was going on, that she was trying to get away from Garrett. Could they help her? Jeff immediately took action, goes and gets a gun, puts a gun to Garrett's head, and forces him to leave the property. Garrett attempts to make Ashley leave with him, and Jason said, no, she's not going anywhere. You're leaving, she's staying. So that's what happened. And I did an interview with Jeff Sneath. It's on my channel, where he discusses all of this. And he ultimately gets Ashley as far back to Lafayette. He didn't take her all the way to Delphi, but he took her to Lafayette to a friend's house, where she reached out. She contacted law enforcement, told them that she was coming in, and she did.
Yeah.
And that's the interview that we're going to hear right now, from April 3rd. However, what I think you're going to find bizarre about this interview is, well, first of all, let me back up. Going into this interview, Ashley doesn't know where Garrett is. She's worried about where he's at because she doesn't want to go someplace where she thinks he's going to be able to find her.
Yeah, for her own safety. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But at the same time, she's scared. So when she goes in, she initially lies to the police that she's telling them, yeah, I seen Nicole, but they left. She didn't want to implicate knowing what happened. And she's saying, Garrett, is missing. I don't know where he's at. I want to know if he's okay. They won't even, to ease her concern, say, we have him in custody, because they already did have him in custody. But they treat her much different than they treated Jasmine Parker and Talitha Beckley. They're very, I think once you watch those other two interviews, you're going to see the difference in the way that they treat her. They kind of hem-haul around with everyone else about their phones. I mean, they immediately come in with Ashley and they say, we're going to take your phone. Well, it's technically not her phone. It's a phone that Garrett had. But you'll see. But after they convince her, okay, we know that you're lying, tell the truth. She does tell the truth. And that's what this interview portrays, is her first interview with Detective Rowe and law enforcement.
Okay.
And this is the edited version, because When they bring her in, she literally sits in this interview room by herself for about an hour. And then this officer that you see initially is the one coming in to take her phone. But when Detective Rowe comes in, you do hear him say to Ashley, okay, I'm aware that you reached out. What did you reach out to us for? But at trial, they made it out like she didn't contact police. And with Detective Rowe on the stand, he doesn't convey at trial that Ashley is the one who picked up the phone and reached out to them. Yet her interrogation was played at trial, but it had to be played multiple times because the sound quality at the trial was horrible. Yeah. And her attorney did not have her interrogation video transcribed. So the jury had copies of the transcripts of what was being said. Her trial was a debacle. So, but this is Ashley in her interview.
You good on Pop?
Yes, thank you.
726 South 11th Street Residential. Hi, Ashley.
Hi.
Ashley, we're investigators with the New County Prosecutor's Office. Okay. Before we ask any questions, you must understand your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before questioning and have a lawyer present with you during questioning if you wish. If you can afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before questioning if you wish. If you decide to answer questions now without a lawyer present, you'll still have the right to stop answering questions at any time. You also have the right to stop answering questions at any time until you talk to a lawyer. You understand those rights? Okay. First things first, okay? I'm going to seize your phone. Okay, so I'm going to need that. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to be back, okay? I'm not going to get your phone. I'm just going to seize your phone.
Nothing.
Okay. We're going to come back and we're going to talk with you in just a little bit, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
We're waiting for another guy to get here.
Okay. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you willing to talk with us?
Yeah.
Okay. What I'm going to have you do is I'm just going to have you sign this as I read them to you. Okay. What it says is you understand statements of your rights. You understand what your rights are. You're willing to make, state, and answer questions. You don't want a lawyer at this time. You understand what you're doing. No promises or threats have been made to you. Okay. And just sign. This is just the rights of rights form. Okay. All right, Ashley. Just relax. Okay. Have your drink. All right.
Okay.
We'll be back to talk with you in just a minute. Okay. All right. Are you comfortable?
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry it took us so long. Yeah, sorry about that. That's it right here. Yeah, Sheriff Detective Rowe from the Newton County Sheriff's Office. Have you introduced yourself, Vince? No, I'm Vince with the Newton County Prosecutor's Office. Our department, you understand your rights and you read that form, correct? Our department said you'd reached out to us, okay? So let's talk about that. What did you reach out to us for?
I was at my friend's and just came in Thursday night. Yeah, Thursday night. And
Okay.
I had seen her. I had seen Nicole, and she gave me a black eye actually.
Okay.
And then she left, and I hadn't heard. I'm my boyfriend. She's my rival, I would say.
She's what?
She's like more or less like an enemy. Like she's my boyfriend's the other girl.
Okay. Another girl that your boyfriend has
Right.
feelings for.
Right.
So like a rival.
Right.
What you said.
Which is in fact like why we got into a fight. And I didn't even he broke it up so fast, I didn't even get to hit her or nothing. We just kind of shuffled around, she gave me an eye, and I got the black eye.
Okay. Which eye was
Oh, no, this one.
You left?
Yeah.
Okay. So take me through, you said Thursday night?
Yeah.
So March 28th?
I think so.
Let's look real quick. Yeah, March 20th. Okay. What time did you get there? At whose house was it?
Jasmine, I can't remember what last name is. Her name's Jasmine.
Jasmine Parker?
Yeah.
Okay. Lot 20 there in Kentland? Yeah. There, that blue trailer?
Mhm.
Okay. What time did you get there?
Day before, because I was there on Wednesday. I had gotten a concussion. I was in the hospital and gotten a concussion because Garrett kind of beat me up, and I was out of it for like Friday. Friday afternoon is when I finally started feeling like less confused. I was very confused. Like I couldn't even like rattle off when my son's birthday was, and I was like that for a few days. And that's how I was when we got there. Like I'm still not okay. Like I slept for days, and
You mean the days prior he did that to you?
yeah.
So you got this, so Garrett drove?
No, one of his friends took us and dropped us off.
Okay, who's that?
Kyle Barron, I think his name.
Kyle Barron? Okay, where's Kyle from?
Lafayette.
Okay. When did he drop you off in? When would you drive up there?
His car.
What was it?
Honda.
Honda, okay. Who has the silver Scion?
I don't know.
Okay. So you're there Thursday night. Tell me what happened how did that girl even get there?
She was with Garrett. Like he left me there with Jasmine like Thursday morning. Yeah, Thursday morning when we got up, he left me and was gone all day.
Okay.
And then he came back at I have on my phone I have times of like when I was when I was trying because I was pulling them up like where are you all day.
Okay.
And then they came by, and they wasn't there very long at all because me and her got into it, and they left.
Okay, I'm trying to keep this straight in my head,
Right.
okay? You were there, I weren't, so we're gonna try to simplify it. You got a ride up there Wednesday. You stayed there Thursday, the 28th. Garrett left you there. You're kind of like wondering what the hell is going on, blowing his phone up like, where are you at? And he returns with a girl. What's her name?
Nicole.
Nicole what?
I know her as Nicole Thomas,
Okay.
but I don't. It was
Nicole,
different.
Nicole Bowman?
Yeah.
Okay. So he returns with her. At what time did he return back?
I don't know. It was dark. It was late.
It's rough time.
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock p.m.?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. So they walk, who's all in the home right now at 11 o'clock when they return?
It was just me and Jasmine.
Just you and Jasmine. Okay. They walk in. I can imagine you seeing him with the girl that he had feelings with,
Right.
and what the hell, he hasn't been
Right.
answering your phone all day. I'd be pissed too. So what happened?
I mean, kind of just like, she seen me, seen her, and I was gonna fuck her up. Like, that's what I had in my mind. Like,
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
like, I wanted to hit her.
hmm
And I'm not the type of person, like, I don't fight. Like, people get hurt when I fight. Like, I have sisters, so it's not something that I do. And Garrett instantly broke it up and left.
So what did you do that he broke up?
Like,
Meaning,
like
you
we were,
run up on her and get right in front of her face and start
she's
calling her?
taller
something?
than me, so like, when I went to hit her, she kind of like, just like grabbed me, and then like, I was gonna just take her down the gun and I hit her, and Garrett just kind of like pulled me off of her, and that was the end of it. She got one hit and punched me in the eye.
Okay. And what happened after that?
They left, and I was there with Jasmine.
No one else was in the home? Okay. I appreciate you being truthful up to that point, but you're not being truthful after that point. I have a lot of guys out working with me right now. We've talked to a lot of people, and there's a lot more that happened inside that trailer than you want to let me know. But what you don't understand is we've talked to a lot of people, and a lot of people have told us the truth because they're sorry for what happened. I would highly suggest you reconsider what you're telling us, because right now, you're the only one that's saying nothing happened there. But you were there. Do you get what I'm saying? Either you're a witness or you're a suspect. We've talked to a lot of people. So let's start telling the truth. So tell me what really happened. Ashley, witness or a suspect?
I know.
We don't know. We don't ask a question that we don't know the answer to. It would be pointless. We would circle and freaking for hours and we'd never get nowhere. I'm coming with you with questions I already know the answers to. So either you're going to support me and help me and be a witness, or you're going to give me this line of crap. As a suspect, you're involved. So what's it going to be? You're going to help or spend a very long time in prison? Then you better start being truthful. That's all I want, the truth. So what?
This isn't complicated. Okay.
This is a very serious matter. You've seen the press releases, okay? We've seen things we wish we didn't see. And you're in the middle of it. I would suggest that we are your only hope. I would suggest you take us up on that. So let's start being truthful. It was all there because there's more people there.
There's one other girl there.
That's what I'm saying. I know the answers, so quit making me drag the answers out of you. Be honest with me. So the stuff is true up to the point you get into the trailer, right? Is that true?
Yeah.
I'm still gauging you.
No, it's all that's true.
Who else was in the trailer?
Teresa.
Right. Okay. And what's the last name?
Ashley.
Right. Okay. Now tell me what happened. You guys started getting into it and something happened to Nicole.
Garrett separated us and he didn't let her go.
And what?
He didn't let her go.
Right. Tell me what he did. If it was an accident, it was an accident.
I mean,
If it was premeditated, then I need to know that.
he had her, I don't know, he had her in a, like a headlock and he just didn't let her go.
Right. And did she fall to the ground?
Yeah.
Let's just a quick second. Once upon a time, to happily ever after, everything that happened, all right? Everything that happened. This is life or death.
I know.
It's already death for one person.
Yeah.
It's life for the others. You look like a good person to me, okay? I can tell. Just by listening, you're a good person, okay? Good people do the right thing. And you're getting one opportunity to do the right thing. Stop answering what he's asking as he asked it. I want you to just tell us from the time you guys got to that trailer, the whole story until the time you ended up right here. And without us having to give it to you and you say yes, tell us what happened and please tell us truthfully because
No, I'm pretty sure I was gonna be next. Like I didn't have any contact with anybody after that. I didn't even have the phone.
Start from the beginning when she walked in the trailer and take us step by step.
please.
We'll even stand up and you tell us how it happened, but you need to be truthful. Just please, just talk about it. You'll feel a lot better. I can imagine what you feel like walking around every day with that on your conscience. And we're here sitting, allowing you to let that go. So just tell us.
Everyone is scrambling to save their own life.
I understand.
Save yours.
I'm sorry.
Don't apologize. I can't even
All I'm
imagine.
doing is crying.
No, I can't imagine what it's like to have that on your shoulders. But we are sitting here next to you, allowing you to let that burden go. You just got to say just the truth.
We're going to shut up and let you talk, okay?
Do I have to start back at the beginning or where?
Yeah, please do that.
So Kyle dropped us off, and then Garrett left the next morning, and he showed back up with her, and we got into it. Garrett didn't want to go. And then he wrapped her up and taped some plastic and took her somewhere. He was gone for hours and hours, and then he came back. And I haven't even told anybody or talked to anybody about it, to be honest. I've cried so much. It's scary. And he took me to one of his friend's house, and I fell asleep then. When I woke up, it was to get in the car because we were going down south to another one of his friend's house, and just that he was being real sneaky and just like his actions and things that I would catch him saying, I didn't feel safe. I wasn't allowed on my phone. He was on my Facebook sending messages, so everybody would think like it was just me. I finally was able to send one to my grandma to tell my son I loved him. And the whole time I was with his friends, like every time I get a chance, I would say something, and he just thought I was batshit crazy. That I was making it up, wanted attention or something. And I really felt like Garrett was going to kill me. And it wasn't until I hadn't sat down and watched the 11 o'clock news in years. Sunday night when I sat down and the news came on and I seen that there was a body in Newton County, I just knew it was going to be bad. And that's when his friend finally realized that I wasn't making shit up. And he made Garrett leave. I thought he was really going to hurt Garrett, but he just let him walk. And I hadn't really slept much. I still haven't really slept much. So I finally fell asleep and I slept all day. And then I finally made it back here at 4:30 in the morning is when I was able to get me back to Lafayette. And by the time I got back and I was able to feel safe, I slept all day yesterday, and my phone doesn't call out, my speakers broke. So that's why I haven't been able to move anybody. I was literally on my way to Newton County, to go to the sheriff's department to talk to you guys.
So you said you thought the friend was gonna beat Garrett up?
I mean, yeah, he was mad. He was mad because he knew, the things that I had been saying, because I wasn't trying to let Garrett know that, I thought he was going to kill me, because that sounds like anybody to be with somebody and think, he's setting that up. That sounds like I'm paranoid. I'm just crazy.
So what was he doing to make you feel that way?
I don't know, he was just being real sneaky about things, and the way he was treating me was just very mean. And he would say, make side comments about, making me disappear or setting me up, and it was just the things that he said. And I don't know, he was very secretive when he was on his phone, and I felt like he was very hiding something from me.
Who was the friend?
Jeffrey Sneeze.
Jeffrey Sneed?
Sneeze.
Sneeze?
Mm-hmm.
From what town?
has a weird name. It's like up down with Brustville.
Down where?
It's on the other side of Brustville.
Downstairs Carpenterville.
And when I woke up, and Garrett had been trying to get a hold of me all day, and Jeff wasn't gonna wake me up. Because I cried myself to sleep. He knew I hadn't slept, and so he let me sleep. And then by the time I got up, I'm guessing Garrett was, I just found out Garrett was in jail last night. Sorry, excuse me. So I hadn't heard from him, and I just wanted to make sure he was okay. And so I got on his Facebook, and I screenshotted the messages, and I seen, Jeff, asking Garrett about it. And he didn't directly say that he did it, and he didn't indirectly say that he didn't do it. But I saved all those messages for you,
We need to talk about some of the details, okay? You said he grabbed her inside the trailer and didn't let go. How did he grab her?
behind.
Okay. Here. So this is her, and I'm Garrett. From behind, like what?
With his arm around her, like this.
Like this?
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what do you do with that? I mean, he grabbed her, and then, you're saying he didn't let go. Was he putting pressure? What was he doing?
He was choking her out.
Okay. And what happened when he choked her out?
And she kind of just fell to the floor.
What was she doing? Did she try to gasp for air?
I don't know.
Was she trying to scream?
I don't know. Kinda. I was really just trying not to be.
Was anyone trying to stop Garrett from doing it?
They tried to second floor. I was scared.
I understand. I understand. If someone's doing that in front of me, I understand that, but I just need to know what everybody was doing when that was happening in front of them. So everybody just kind of froze.
I went to the other room. My stomach just got really tight. I almost felt like I couldn't breathe.
Okay, so she fell to the ground, you said. And you said earlier that they wrapped the body up. We need to go from falling to the ground to wrapping the body up. We need to know how that exactly happened and who had what part and what.
I'm not sure. It was pretty much all Garrett. It was all Garrett.
Were you in there? Did you watch him do it?
I didn't know. He asked me to stand there, and I just wasn't, I didn't want to see her. I didn't want to see it. I just kind of stood there.
Sorry, I was trying to pause it. I wanted to show everyone the layout of the trailer. So looking at this is the trailer with, so if you remember the video, the X out here up top, that would have been where I was shooting the video from, facing the front of the trailer where the grass is. So going around here to the far right-hand side of the trailer, back behind the trailer to this yellow pathway, this is how Jasmine was having people come and go from the trailer. When you come in this back door where this X is, you come into a hallway. It's not really even, I wouldn't even say it's an actual hallway. It's more of kind of like a 3-foot area. And you're facing the kitchen that has an island. That white bar right there is the kitchen island. The other X right here that's marked in front of the sofa, that is Jasmine's bedroom door. And there's a couch inside that bedroom. That's where Ashley ran to, but the door was open. So when Garrett comes in with Nicole and Talitha, they walk in over here to the left to the living room area. And where that red X is where the fight happened. Because Ashley came right out of the bedroom. Nicole came at her. They kind of met right here at the corner of the island, and that's where everything went down. So when Ashley ran back to the bedroom, everything that Garrett was doing was pretty much right here in the open, in view sight of that room.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to show you that, so it made sense.
Thank you.
Looking away.
So who was in the same room with him when they were going to wrap her body up? Who was in there with him?
He was with himself most of the time. I went and
Anytime. At any point in time, was anyone else in that room? Were you in there at all? And I just need to know the truth. I just need to know what parts were you in there in that room so I know that you're saying the truth.
when she fell to the ground, I was in there, and then he was trying to demand one of us to help him, and I walked back in there, and I kind of just stood there and looked at the ground, and he yelled at me to help him, and I didn't, so I went back into the other room, and I laid on the ground and I did Pilates, because that's how I wanted my muscles to calm down, I laid on the ground and did Pilates.
So when you say he wanted one of us to help him, who is us?
Lisa and Jasmine were the only ones there.
No guys?
No,
No other guys?
no. There wasn't any other guys, it was just us girls.
So when you didn't help him, who did?
Nobody did. He did it himself.
And so when you came back out, what did you see? That you're saying he did himself.
Her on the
I mean,
floor.
what did you see?
Her on the floor with paper on her mouth.
Okay, just her body with tape around her mouth. Do you know what type of tape? Okay, what else did you see?
Just seen the tape and trash bags, and I don't remember how he had wrapped her up. I'm really trying to think, but I really tried not to look at
I
it.
just want you to tell the truth. What was up with the trash bag? Where was the trash bag?
I think he put it on her head, but I don't remember.
Okay, what else did you see?
Let me see.
You said earlier that she was rolled up. What does that mean?
I think, and trash bag, or I think it was a trash bag. I think he just put it around her. I'm not even sure. I'm really trying to remember, but I was still really all not there. And I really wanted to be absent-minded of even being there.
Who else seen her laying there like that? Did Talitha and Jasmine come out?
Yeah.
And what did they say to him? What did he say to them?
Nobody really said anything. Nothing at all.
So how did she, what happened after that?
I drug her outside and left her.
Okay, and how did he take her outside?
He drug her on the floor.
Do you know if he drug her by what part of her body?
No idea.
Okay, and what door did he take her out of?
The back door. There's only one door to go out of.
Okay, so if this is the trailer array, you're coming in. Okay, you're coming into the trailer park. Have you ever walked up that?
No.
Okay, how do you normally walk into the trailer?
Around to the back, there's another door on the other side of the porch.
Okay.
And that's the only way I've ever been in there.
And so when you walk in, what are you actually walking into?
Bedroom, I don't know what it would be called.
Is it a finished area, unfinished?
It's kind of unfinished.
Okay, so you're saying how did he take her out of the house to get to that door?
And then you walk around when you go in the door, You gotta like walk around the end of the trailer because it's kind of like added on, I think.
Okay.
And then there's a ramp. I think it's maybe it's not even a ramp. There's so much stuff in there, so I really don't know. And then you gotta go up steps and kind of trying to go before like it's all registered.
Okay, what time was that?
Well, it wasn't very long after the
You know, what time did he drag her out?
I don't know.
Please
I
say.
really don't know.
Before midnight or after midnight?
Maybe before, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Okay, so you're saying he drug her out through that back door of like the add-on addition area? And where did he go from there? I mean, what did he do once he got to that door?
I don't know. I didn't go outside.
So you don't know how he left with?
No,
Cool. You don't know?
I don't know.
What time? How long was he gone?
Hours. I have it on my phone.
And we'll get that, and we'll maybe look at that. I mean, just your best guess. How long?
5 hours. He was gone the rest of the night and the morning.
Okay. Do you know about what time do you return in the
Yeah.
daylight, nighttime still?
It was morning. It was right outside. 8 o'clock, maybe. I have a message where he says I'm on my way.
On my way.
Like on his way to Jasmine.
So you inferred that message meant on his way back?
Yeah.
What did he pull up in?
A car. A car, what'd you call it?
Well, I'm asking you.
I don't
There's a lot of cars.
know what
There's a lot of cars in and out of that.
What color was
A light color.
it? Like white?
Blue, maybe blue, silver. I'm not sure.
Okay, who was he with?
Chris. I think his name. Morris.
Does he look like?
He's got tattoos all over.
Short, tall?
Yeah, he's short.
What color is his hair? Long.
Okay, what did he do at that point?
He was very, very mean to me, and I spent all that time that he was, that he left, and all that time that when he got back, that we was there, I was pretty much in the bedroom by myself crying, nobody had said anything about it, nobody had asked me if I was okay, nobody had anything, and he was being downright mean. Downright mean.
What was he saying to you?
When I was crying, he told me I was a crybaby, and he didn't have time for that shit, and he was just being very, very cold towards me. He made me feel like I was he treated me like dirt.
Had he made any threats to you?
I mean, yeah. He just he wasn't scared to make me. He told me that often, that he wasn't scared to just make me disappear, or that when he's had the chance, he should have just taken me out, and because he had premeditated, tried to kill me a few months ago, and he was on bond for that, and
What did he do?
choking me, strangling me.
The same way that he did her?
Yeah.
Did he do anything else to you?
He had me tied up, laying behind my back. I was tied up for 2 hours, And the reason why I was able to get away is because my friend felt like there was something bad, and he drove by and laid on the horn and took care of let go.
So he tied your hands behind your back?
Mm-hmm.
What else did he do?
And tied my ankles.
Did he do anything else?
He beat me around. He hit me a few times. Like, I was pretty beat up.
Is that why you're reluctant to talk to us today? Do you think that if he gets out, he's going to come do something to you?
I know. Yeah, I was scared, yeah.
Do you know if he's ever done this to anyone else before? Besides you?
I think so.
I get it. You got some stuff. So what, I know it's tough. I get it. What room exactly did he choke her out in?
The kitchen, living room, in between.
Kind of all one room there?
Yeah.
Did you know that he killed her?
I mean, I'm pretty smart. I'm not stupid.
I know that.
I just didn't want. I kept telling myself like I didn't want to like believe like I'm too in tune with reality. Like sometimes I wish I was fucking crazy because I didn't want to believe it. I just tried not to think about it. And it's always been messing with my head and I haven't been able to talk to anybody about it.
What did you think would happen to you if you told anybody about it?
I just thought he was gonna come after me. That's more or less like after I woke up after Jeffrey made him leave, like more or less like why I wanted to know where he was at. Because I didn't know who I could trust and who I couldn't.
So you said there was a kid named Chris?
Yeah.
So tell me more about Chris.
I don't really know much about him. He's Garrett's friend.
But he came back with Garrett that morning?
Yeah.
Okay, was he at the trailer that night at all?
No.
Did they talk about anything around you? About anything they have done, after he left?
No.
Chris didn't try to talk to you about anything?
I don't think he really liked me.
No.
He didn't really ever say anything to me, and when he did, he was very snooty and short about it. Like, I don't...
Had you known Chris before he came back with Garrett that day? Had you ever seen Chris around before?
Just the night that Wednesday night, he was there, and he had left before we woke up.
I just want to check in your code. We're going to take a quick break and see about
Can I go smoke a cigarette?
Can we just wait a few more minutes,
Yeah.
please? We're trying to get
You're fine.
through, so we're not staying here too long. But yeah, I'll be right back in. You're doing great, though, okay?
While we're out, I know you've been thinking about it since it happened, but think about it and think about any details that you can give us, okay? Honestly. And just tell us. I mean, it's not going to surprise us. Were you in fear of your life?
Yeah.
I get that, okay? I get that you're still there, all right? Well, we can help you, okay?
Okay, thoughts so far?
difficult to watch. And wow, the way their attitude and the way they are talking to her is, I don't know, it's really aggressive. It's really, wow. And
Well,
she's completely traumatized, and they reach out to the police to by herself to explain. And at the beginning, I understand that she lied about what she have seen, because you told me that she was in her 20s. Yeah.
yes, yes. Yeah, I think she
What
was, I think she was 27.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what I see, it's a girl completely traumatized with two cops who are completely negative about what she had to say, though they had no compassion, nothing. It's wow.
And the very first, and this next segment is what really upset me the most about watching this. I think now that I've gotten to know Ashley over the last several years, the timidness and the tears are something that are they're to this day very prevalent. Even if I have something good to tell her about her case, she cries. So she's very emotional that way.
Yeah.
And she did have a lot of PTSD after this. While she was out on bond, her grandmother said that there were many, many episodes where she woke up in the middle of the night, frantic or afraid. And she was, she had to go through a lot of counseling when she first was sent to prison for the PTSD. And she's taken some classes on how to manage that and the guilt of not doing anything to stop him. So there's that. But when I first watched this interrogation video, I thought when they broke there to leave the room, the first thing I thought was they're going to go look up that previous case on Garrett when he attacked her.
Yeah.
That's what I thought they were going to go do. But yet when they return, I don't think that's what they did at all. Now, mind you, they had already interviewed Garrett by this point. They had interviewed Garrett 2 days before. And Garrett, first of all, he was interviewed for almost 3 hours. In his video, which it's on my channel, he tells a completely different story and goes into great detail about how Chris Mathis murdered Nicole in front of him and Ashley. So at this point, Garrett that's the only thing that Garrett had told them. Garrett told them that Chris Mathis had done this. And so where they're getting this when they come back in, I was like, what are they doing? And you can Ashley just kind of like freezes up, like, what? But then they ask her about which arm Garrett used, and she has to sit there for a moment. And she said, I think it was the one without the tattoos. And she was right, because the arm that he has without the tattoos is the one that's all bruised up. So, all right, back to the video.
Sorry about that.
Okay, so I'm really interested in what happened to you before, okay? So where were you when that happened?
Yeah. Had been threatening me like the night before. I had to go and I had done some work for my friend and to pay rent. And he had, I don't know, he was acting a little weird and had been threatening me. And when my friend picked him up, he had seen it, like seen him acting weird. And he said it was like the devil got taken over, his eyes went completely black, like, and it wasn't like he believed him. And I had to pretty much like all on to the next day, like convince him, like, I'm fine, he's not there, like there's no way for him to get in my house is locked up. Yeah, at least I need to go home and shower and change my clothes. Drop me off, come back and get me. And that's what he had intended on doing. So when I walked in, I locked the door and walked in, didn't think nobody was there. Went to the bathroom, like we had two bathrooms, I went in the front bathroom, went to the bathroom, I took off my pants and went back to my room, which had the other bathroom where I was gonna shower. I got to my room, flipped on the light, and he came around the corner. He had it all laid out to where what he used to like tie me up with, like he took me off guard. Like that's the only reason why he was like, pretty much evil, just catch me up that way. And he had my hands on my back, my feet. I had found a stall in the bathroom and like I don't remember exactly what it all was, but he had intended on killing me and cutting me up. And he had me tied up.
So I don't know if you caught that, because for some reason the audio on this got a little choppy in that section. But what she explained was that she saw in the bathroom, the bathroom that was in her room, Garrett had stuff laid out with a saw. She thought he had planned on cutting her up. And I believe he had plastic also in the bathroom. And her stepdad said that he had done something with the pipes in the bathtub, like added like a PCV pipe or something to make the drain wider.
Yeah.
So he had been in there all day working on this.
Which could indicate premeditation.
Oh, yeah. And he wasn't charged with premeditated. He wasn't charged with attempted murder or anything.
Jesus.
I had to turn the music up so loud so that nobody could hear me scream. When I finally was able to get the tape off the tape off that was across my mouth.
So you had tape across your mouth?
Yeah, I had like a little bad, like it was like a rug burn just right here on my face from where I had gotten wet to get it to unstick, and it just left a bad rash. He drove me across through the house and by my feet, had hit me several times, choked me out until like I wasn't breathing, and then I'd wake back up to do it all again. He did it several times until my friend drove by, and like I was tied up for 2 hours.
So tell me, he choked you unconscious? That's what you're telling me?
Yeah, he did. And
would it kind of be the same way that he choked her unconscious?
Yeah. I mean,
So while he was doing all this, what was he saying to you?
didn't really say much. Told me to shut up. Call me names.
What were you doing? What were you trying to do?
I was trying every chance that I could get my mouth covered, I'd scream help. And I even, his grandma came and picked him up. He had, I don't know, somehow contacted her and told her to come get him. And, I went out the door at the same time, when he went to leave with his grandma, I went out the door with him still with this, I had gotten my feet untied. My hands, I was still pulling, the things off my wrist when I was running out the door, call 911, yell help, and his grandma just sped out the driveway and took off.
So you didn't know that he was in the house when you went in there? He was hiding in there?
Yep. And he broke into his front window.
So he choked you.
Mm-hmm.
He tied you up, hands behind your back, tied up your feet, put tape over your mouth,
Yep.
drug you around the house.
Yeah.
Hey, Ashley, on the, I want to kind of go back to, remember how we were talking about some of the details inside the home? Sorry for bouncing around a little bit, but just trying to make sure I understand everything. So when you're in the home and you started getting that altercation, at any point did you grab Nicole?
Grab Nicole?
Yeah.
No. Oh, no. No, no.
I mean, I understand if you did. I mean,
Like, I'm really trying to think of how, when, like I said, she's taller than me, so, like, when I went up to hit her, she kind of just, like, I didn't make a full contact hit with her, and then she hit me, and we, like, she had a hold of me as I had a hold of her, and Garrett broke us up before anything, before.
Like, how are you saying you had a hold of her and she had a hold of you? Like, front to front? You had, how? Just how?
Kind of sideways, cause I was, my intentions were, I was just gonna, I was gonna take it out and start wailing on her, but I didn't get that far, just Garrett pulled her off.
Okay, did you have your arm, where were your arms in terms of how were you locked up with her when you say you were gonna try to throw her down? How?
I'm really trying to think of how. She had a hold of my hair. I think our arms are her shorter, because I know I didn't have my arms around her, it wasn't around her head, her neck or her head. I want to say it was her arms, on her arm.
And I understand if you guys are fighting or
It
wrestling.
really happened so fast, he pulled her off, so fast.
Okay, so you don't believe that your arm was around her head at any point in time? I mean, I understand if it was a fight or a scuffle. I'm just trying to figure that out.
It's human nature to try to control the head when you're in a fight.
Right, no, I didn't have a chance to get to her head, I didn't have a chance to grab her, to get that close to her, because she was weird, she was fighting back.
Sure she was. I mean, I've looked at her Facebook. I think she thinks she's a hard ass, right? She thinks she's hard, right? Am I right or wrong?
I guess, I don't really know her.
You don't know her, but she's hanging out with your boyfriend.
Yeah.
So I mean, you've obviously, if
Man,
Detective Rowe was hanging out with my wife and I knew it, I'm going to start looking into him to see what he's about, right?
Right, and that day, even there was a message or a call or something where I had said something, she had said something about, well, come on down, let's get out in the front yard, and I was like, no, I'm gonna go have some tea. I was being, I was being nice about, I didn't threaten her, I wasn't mean to her.
That obviously doesn't work though, right? So you guys ended up in a fight and you're pissed. And she's pissed, right?
Right.
And you're fighting over the same prize. So you get in a fight, right? So you get in a fight.
And I didn't even, it really didn't even get a fight, Garrett took over, and I don't even want to say take over, because I don't even know how that was. It all happened so fast.
Now, I know that it happened fast. And I'm going to tell you that when it happened to you, it happened fast too. But it didn't feel fast, right? It felt like it lasted forever. You can remember everything that happened that night, right? Because it's so vivid in your mind because it was so traumatic to you. I'm going to tell you that what you saw in Jasmine's trailer was very traumatic too, okay? And you saw it happen. and you know exactly what happened. And you can tell us exactly what happened, but you're trying to block it out from your mind so that you don't have to relive it. But actually, you need to relive that right now, and you need to tell us everything that happened. Because like Detective Rope said, other people are talking to us. And obviously, he's asking where your arm was at, right? And he's asking that for a reason. He's asking that for a reason. You understand, right? Because obviously, at some point in this story, we believe that your arm was around her neck. Okay? So you need to tell us what happened. I'm not sitting here saying that you killed her. But if you were in a fight prior to anything else happening, and whatever the details are very important. When we walked in here, we said be very honest. You are being honest on what you're telling us, but there is so much more. And I know that you know that. And I've told you, I think you're a good person, and I'm trying to stick with that theory. But I need you to spill it, okay? Everything. There's a lot more that happened to that girl, and you saw it happen. Now tell us what you saw, please.
I don't know. I think anything else. Him do anything. I don't know.
He was asking for help, right? He was asking for help to do things.
Yeah.
What was he doing that he needed help with?
I'm tying her up. I'm not sure. And that's why he was getting so mad at me, because I was just standing there like I was stupid. Like, I didn't know.
Right, I get it. Did he tie her up?
I think he did. I can't remember, but he did.
Did he use any tape like he used on you?
Yeah, you heard me. Here, God did.
Where did he put it?
I don't know. Around, I want to say like around her face or her mouth or her head or something. I'm not sure.
Was the bag over her head? You said, did he put a bag over her head, or you thought he did? Do you know if he taped the bag around her head? What did he do?
I think so.
Where do you get the tape in a bag from?
I don't know. I have no idea.
They put anything else across the body, or around the body, or over the body?
Oh.
Please think. I want to believe you.
Rope or maybe I'm really not sure.
I'm sorry. I'm getting a rope or a cord?
Maybe.
What do you think it looked like? Did it look like a rope or a cord?
I mean, I feel like a cord would be more plausible for something to just grab.
Where would he have grabbed that cord from? Just asking.
No,
Did you see where he grabbed it from?
No.
And where did he put that on the body? What did he do with it?
Maybe around her neck too.
Actually, did you see him put a cord around her neck?
No, but it feels like if me telling you that feels like that's what happened. Like I don't really recall. Like I don't recall him doing it, but I feel like that's the right thing. But
We just want you to just be truthful. I don't want you assuming anything.
okay.
Okay, that's why we're asking you, what did you see? Did you see a cord around her neck, or did you see him put a cord around her neck?
I've seen something else around her neck. I'm just not 100% sure if that's what it was. I'm not sure.
I'm going to dig in just a little close right here, okay? I'm here to tell you right now that you're safe, okay? There is nobody here that is going to hurt you, okay? You say Garrett's in jail, right?
Maybe. I'm not sure. That's what I was told.
Nobody is going to hurt you here. We are here to help you. We are here to make sure that no other women, like this young lady or yourself, go through what you went through, okay? So if you know, I know you don't want to remember, but if you know, just tell us you know. Okay? We know. Okay? Please. We're not just, you could be saving people's lives, honestly. So, like I said, did you see him put something around her neck?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
And you think it was what?
I think it was the cord.
Cord?
I know Dresden had a cord that had phone charger plugged in. That was right there beside the couch. Nobody got anything for him, so I don't know. I don't know where he
So
got.
he went and got whatever he used for himself by himself?
Yeah.
Can you think of anything else that's important that you think we should know?
So, I know he has, yeah, I'm sure it's still there. He had a big bruise right there on his arm.
From what?
I'm guessing that it would have been from the pressure on his arm, of how tight he had it around the neck.
So you said he had her like this, like Detective Roadshow, and was just had her at chokehold?
Mm-hmm.
You're saying his left arm?
I mean, I don't know which arm it was, but it was like right here on his arm.
But do you remember what arm he put around her neck?
I don't remember. I don't know. Might have been his left arm. I'm not sure. I don't really remember. I think it's whatever arm he doesn't have his tattoos on.
So when you were fighting with her, you were trying to get her down, right? So I don't remember if your arm got up, down, or anywhere.
If anything, it would have been more or less like over the back of her like this.
The back of her, like so if I'm fighting, and I'm obviously if you're gonna throw somebody down,
Yeah,
right,
let's say
I'm gonna come up like this and try to bring them up this way, right?
Right.
So do you think your arms were like this?
Kinda, but
Or was it
never.
one arm?
It was one.
Like this?
Yeah. Because my other arm was kind of like, let's say, a point like it was I was gonna hit her.
Right.
And then plus like I was trying to defend myself at the same time because she was coming at me.
So you may have had her around the neck, but not in a chokehold.
No.
What did Garrett say when he came back? I know you said he came back with that other kid. What did he say?
The way he was talking to me was way different than he was talking to everybody else. Like, when he talked to Felisa, he was like, you know, very soft and sweet spoken, but when he talked to me, it was just a very hateful tone, like, and that's why I kept saying, like, please don't talk to me like that, like, don't talk to me that way. I don't, you know, I'm not, and I'm, like, if he would try to tell me to do something, like, he would talk at me, like, he wasn't talking to me, he was talking at me.
Did he say anything or give any details on what he just done? You say he drug Cole's body out through the back door, okay?
Right.
And then he came back. Did he say what he did when he was gone?
Yeah.
He didn't say anything about that. Just
No, like, I haven't, like, I just didn't hear him talk about it. I didn't say anything about it. If I tried to say, like, you know, he would tell me, like, to stop looking so miserable or quit whining. I was such a whine ass, like, and I still had, like, up until I got back and was telling somebody, like, I need to go talk to somebody. I didn't talk to anybody about it. Not one person about any of it.
Is it normal for him to talk down to you? Does he usually treat you bad?
Not really. No. Not until, like, the last few days I was with him. And I really think, like, I really feel that my heart, like, he was going to kill me, and I just caught on because of the way he thought he was going to.
Ashley, has he done this to somebody else before?
I don't know. I have no idea.
You've been with him for a while, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've seen sides of him that a lot of people haven't. I think he would feel trusted in you
I have no idea.
if he's done something.
Not to my knowledge, I don't know that he's done anything. He's got, well, I don't want to say like a double life, but he's got another side to him. He's very secretive about things, and
Like what? I mean, what side
I
of
mean,
his life?
he likes guys.
So
And he thinks I know, or I don't know things. Like, I mean, that's his preference or whatever. Like, that's on him. Like, he's kind of finally admitted to me a couple months ago, because I kept catching him on like a gay chat site or just things that like kind of just threw me off. It was not normal.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime I brought something up, he'd hit me and he'd talk down to me, or he'd turn whatever, you know, I was trying to ask about into a bigger proportion of what it is, and make me, like, he would play the victim of something. Like, he doesn't have any self-accountability for anything he does, and all of his actions are because of somebody else. But he didn't let me go most places with him. Like, if he went somewhere, I usually wasn't with him.
So you think he was bisexual?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Okay. Had anyone ever done anything to him that would make him act out?
I mean, I don't think so, but he said that when he was younger, this guy had molested him, and that's the way why he liked, I don't know, he has a fascination with men or something. He didn't really want to talk about it. So I never really brought it up. Like, I've been having a hard time, like, knowing like that that I needed to get away from him, and for some reason I couldn't even ensure that I couldn't, or he would stalk me, or he would make it show up at wherever I was, like make sure like my friends were, you know, for him. Like that's just more like I barely talk to my family. I don't have any friends left really. So I kind of just been hanging in there, waiting until I could get away from him. I really would think if it wasn't for Jeff making him leave and keeping me there. Like if I would have left with him when his buddy came and got him, I don't think I would still be here. I really feel like this, like, I was gonna say like God, like that's a God on this truth. Cause it's really been fucking with my head, like I'm not really okay.
It's a lot to take in.
Is there anything else? There's oftentimes we may lose track when we're talking, you know. Is there anything else before or after, or anything else that he's been involved in that we haven't asked about that you really need to let us know about?
I don't think so.
Any other crimes he's been involved in that's going to pop up on our investigation? Just to get ahead of it and just let us know. So we're not
He
having...
says him stealing from people. I don't know, I don't know what he's taken from him, but I know he's got the thing for him and his buddies going, taking stuff. I don't ever see anything. I just know like he's usually got money.
So he's going out turning a lick to make some money? Is that what he's doing?
Right.
Where do you think he's taking that stuff from?
I know he stole from his grandparents numerous times. He's stolen stuff from me. I'm not sure. That's something I know about.
You said that you're not okay, so I mean, you just met us today, right? But if there's anything that you think you can tell us that can help you be okay,
I don't think so.
You're willing to
I'm
listen?
talking about it next time. That's what I needed to do. Is tell somebody. I mean, I'm metaphorically that I'm not okay. I'll be okay.
alright? I hope so.
I just caught in my own head, like, I don't know how. Like, me being scared is a weird feeling for me because I'm not intimidated by much. And I don't know, it's changed me kind of like, can't sleep, I haven't talked much, I haven't wanted to do anything. Just gonna sit there and just stare off in space. The concentration's not all there. It's just different having feelings that I'm not used to having. Really alone, like I feel really alone.
Hopefully we've made a couple of steps today to help you get back.
Just real quick, Ashley, what was Nicole wearing?
You said her shirt?
Shoes?
I don't know what her shoes. I have no idea.
Is any of her clothing left there after they took her out?
She had all the clothing on.
Shoes, coat, anything?
I don't think so.
Do you think she was still fully clothed?
Yeah. She didn't. Last time I seen her, she had all of her clothes on.
And footwear though?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to hang out for just a few more minutes, okay? We gotta go talk to a couple people and then we'll be back and hopefully we'll be done, okay?
Hey Ashley, do you have the memory card, the SD card from the phone?
I don't have that. They took my phone. I don't have an SD card in it.
You never had one in it? All right. Well, what we gotta do is, we gotta drive you up to our county. Okay, so it's about an hour north of here.
Or what?
Okay, well, we gotta go up there and see where we're at with the prosecutor's office and all that stuff, so, in terms of what we're gonna do from this point forward. Okay, do you got anything in your pockets at all?
A lighter. Did I smoke my last cigarette?
We probably came downstairs, not
Well,
here,
yeah,
but,
obviously.
yeah, anything you have, can you empty your pockets and lay it right here real quick?
She has no clue they have every intention of arresting her.
Before you throw it away, what is it?
I cigarette butt.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, and I dropped my lighter outside, so I don't have nothing.
Can you pull your pockets up for me? Okay,
This one's for me.
okay. Okay. And you just want to throw that soda away? Are you done? You just want to take a last drink or something?
I don't do it, but it never think it.
It's okay, just set it in there.
Okay, here's the kicker. So they take her and they arrest her. Now, you seen she had that white sock hat on, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, throughout all of this, throughout the year and a half of preparing for trial, nothing is ever said about that hat. By the time they get to trial, they bring Garrett in to testify against her. They never played Garrett's interrogation videos, neither one of them. They never bring up Ray Hanish's case. There was a motion of limine to exclude it from the trial. And then there on the stand, the prosecutor produces this picture of Nicole, which the full picture that I have, you can see what she has on. She has on like a blue, it's either a jacket or a sweatshirt. And she has on this white hat, which is a different hat. Okay.
Yeah.
Garrett tries to say at trial, first of all, this photo is entered with no timestamp and no information where the picture came from.
No.
Garrett testified under oath that Nicole took that picture, this picture right here, while she was with him that day.
No way.
Ashley's attorney did try to argue it. It still was allowed in. This photo was blown up and put on an easel sitting in the courtroom the entire trial. So I get all of her exhibits. And Garrett testified at trial that Ashley took Nicole's white hat And that's the same hat that she's wearing in her interrogation video. Of course, Ashley denies it. Her attorney puts on no defense about this hat, doesn't inquire with anyone in Ashley's family, nothing. So at the end of the trial, I'm going to read this for you. This was part of this is part of the prosecutor's closing argument about Ashley in this hat. It says, killers keep trophies. Is it the spoils of war? Is it the thrill of the hunt? Or is it just a sign of victory? Do we know? Was the defendant's trophy Garrett Kurtz, or was it the hat? Okay, so we get the, and you know, Nicole's family, nothing against them. They only can go by what they know or what the prosecution is telling them. They initially, when I first started covering this case, they would come in and they would want to debate in the chat, and they would argue about this hat, that this hat was Nicole's hat that Ashley had on. Mind you, Ashley sat in the Newton County Jail for 6 months.
Yeah.
If Garrett would have accused Ashley from day one of taking Nicole's hat, they could have taken the hat out of police property and tested it, which they did not do. When she was released on bond, they gave her all of her stuff back. So
Yeah, they could test for DNA, fibers, or
hair, anything.
Hair, anything. Yeah.
I mean, when you think about the prejudice, to a
It's huge.
jury being told this girl killed this girl and then had the audacity to steal her hat and then wear it into the police station. I mean, think of what horrible things this jury had to be thinking about Ashley, and her attorney is not defending her. So we get the exhibits, we get everything.
Yeah.
And including some of the autopsy photos. And I'm looking at these photos and I'm going, okay, Garrett and Nicole left Jason Palladino's property in Nicole's car. They went somewhere possibly to get heroin. Then they drive out to Mikey Hiddle's house.
Yeah.
Why was Nicole found in a completely different outfit than what she's wearing in this photograph? And when you look at this photograph really close, look at her nose. She has a stud nose ring in her nose.
Yeah.
When she was found, she had a hoop earring in her nose.
Which proves that it could be taken the same day. The same day.
It was not taken the same day, exactly. And
wow.
Yeah.
She's a victim. I have watched a bunch of interview police, and I don't say that I'm a specialist of any kind. I'm not a specialist, but I don't see any sign of deception or anything from Ashley. She never, for example, back up on her chair, or I don't see anything who could say that she's lying, but I see those two cops trying everything to involve her in this case, in this murder, without any consideration for her.
And the saddest part is while she's sitting there, and then once they take her to Newton County and then they arrest her, at that time she had no idea about Garrett killing someone else.
No.
And Talitha possibly being either involved with that or having knowledge of it, or about Nicole. So if you go back and you watch my coverage, Garrett, because I've read it on here several times, Garrett writes her a letter while they're in the Newton County Jail, basically telling her to keep her mouth shut. And he doesn't trust her. Did he kill someone else? Yes, he admits in that letter he did. Was it on purpose? He's not going to say. But he basically says, if you love me, these cops are not your friends. Basically, he's saying, I don't trust you because you're telling on me and you're a snitch and you don't understand what ride or die means. That letter was excluded from her trial, except for a portion of it, because in the letter he admitted to killing Ray Hainish. And because that information wasn't allowed to come in, her attorney was only allowed to read a portion of it. And that portion was a very small piece. But even in the letter, he said, he's telling Ashley, I killed Nicole because I didn't want her to hurt you. Because Ashley has admitted to me that when Nicole came at her, Nicole was getting the best of her. Like Nicole was, Nicole was bigger than her. So that whole letter was not an exhibit in the trial. The jury didn't get to hear it, but her new attorney for post-conviction relief has now been able to get that in. He's been able to bring in Ray's case. He's been able to bring in ineffective assistance of counsel from her from her original attorney.
Yeah.
Her dad was able to testify at the post-conviction hearing about the hat.
Yeah.
And since we've been working on her case, with the help of her dad and them, they were able to find for me photographs of Ashley wearing her own white hat in photographs prior to the death of Nicole.
Yeah.
So those have been submitted. So I am praying that we get some relief here in this post-conviction.
Yeah.
So
well, I have 1 million of stuff in my mind right now. I try to put everything in order, but it's
a lot.
That's a lot for a first time. Plus, it's
a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah, but one stuff. The cops were no. The cops was not in their own jurisdiction when the interview occurred. No.
So they took. That's why they said they had to take her back to their county because she only got Jeff took her to Lafayette and she went into the Lafayette Police Department.
Yeah.
Newton County is about an hour away from there.
And why this cops was allowed to make an interview, film it, who was filmed?
I don't know.
Why this cop was allowed to do that?
I'm assuming that in Indiana they are allowed to, and I think that was ultimately the delay at the beginning of the interrogation video that I cut out of her just sitting in the room because she called and said she was coming in, and I can only assume that they called Detective Rowe and so he came in to Lafayette to meet with her. But at some point in that interview, I'm assuming he came in to interview her, not knowing what the outcome was going to be. But when he decided to take her back to Newton County, and he said, "We're going to go back here and see what the prosecutor says," he knew then he was going to hold her.
Yeah, he knew exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So let me. We can stay on behind the scenes and chat, but I'm going to let everybody on the live go. Thanks for listening in. And if you're on the replay, if you have any questions, leave your questions. I know a lot of you in my community right now are watching the Karen Reed trial, so you'll probably jump on here after that. So I put Jerome's link in my chat. Please go subscribe to his channel. He covers different cases as well. And we will see you later.
Yes, absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.